Okay, so welcome back again. Uh, I was busy, so this is why I couldn't take your classes for at least 3 to 4 days. But now I am time. I have time, so I can take your classes regularly. So we had left our topic here, that is on endocrine glands. But before we go into the deep of endocrine glands, let's understand about what are under endocrine glands. First of all, what are glands? Glands are the organ of a body which releases some chemical, which secretes some chemicals either into the blood directly or indirectly. So these glands are divided into two parts. First one is exocrine glands, and the second one is endocrine gland. Now, what is the difference between both? The difference is hidden in its name, that is exo and endo. Exocrine gland means when any organ or any part of any gland is releasing its hormone or its material via any tube. That means it's an exocrine gland, such as our sweat gland or our oil glands which are present into our skins. But what endocrine glands are? These are the glands which secrete their material or their chemical or hormone directly into the blood, such as pancreas, our pituitary gland, etc., adrenal gland, and there are so many glands about which we will study. Some of them may be in detail, and some of them will not be required to be covered in detail. What are these glands release hormones are nothing but just they are chemicals released into the bloodstream by endocrine glands. We are focusing into the uh, endocrine glands, not exocrine one, because they do not affect our emotions or our behavior greatly. So we will understand about endocrine glands mostly. Hormones affect behavior and emotions by stimulating muscles, organs, or other glands of the body. That's all about hormones. And that's enough to know that why we are studying about these hormones. This is the location of some hormones or some glands from where the hormones are released directly into the bloodstream. First one is the hypothalamus. This is not our gland. This is a part of our brain about which we will study further. And below this hypothalamus, hypothalamus is a part of our brain which is involved in controlling of emotions via the glands. How does it do it? So I will explain it. But below the hypothalamus there is pituitary gland, and behind the pituitary gland there is pineal gland, and parathyroid gland and thyroid gland both are uh, at our neck. Then comes pancreas, which is associated with our digestive system. Then comes adrenal glands. Adrenaline and noradrenaline are two hormones which are released by this adrenal gland. Next one is ovaries in females, and testes in males, which secrete the male or female hormone, basically estrogen and androgens. So first we will focus more on our pituitary gland, because it is also known as master gland, and we should know how this works. It is located under the brain just below the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is the part of brain which deals with the management of our emotions. And how hypothalamus manages this emotion, This hypothalamus will give any command to pituitary to release some hormones, and via these hormones other glands are controlled. Means there is a chain of reactions. First hypothalamus will give command. Hypothalamus, this will command to pituitary gland. Pituitary gland itself will release some hormones about which we will further discuss, and some of these hormones which are released by pituitary will be about to control other the secretion of other glands, such as secretion from gonads, or androgen secretion of androgens, secretion by adrenaline gland, etc. They will also be controlled by the hormones released by pituitary gland. Means this pituitary gland is working as at the top of the glands, and this pituitary gland is itself managed by hypothalamus. That's why pituitary gland is known as master gland. As discussed earlier, pituitary gland releases many hormones. Some of them are one of them is growth hormone, which controls the growth of a child to adult, and it also stimulates our gonads, that is ovaries and testes, to release male or female sex hormones, which in turn influence the development and functioning of reproductive organs. Development of secondary sex characteristics in puberty and reproductive behavior in general. That's why means if these gonads are released, means male or female sex hormones are released, then only we can control the we can develop secondary sex characteristics which develop after our puberty, such as masculine characters in males, and feminine characters in females. What are these feminine and masculine characters? They are basically women's voice, girls' voice gets becomes thick, and it becomes somehow, means males like the voice of females because it becomes thick and its frequency increases, and also the skin becomes shiny, etc. And for males, their masculine character may be loudness of the male's voice gets enhanced, and there are hairs in their entire body part, etc., etc. These are secondary group characters which develops only after the onset of puberty. And these male and female hormones are not only related to the puberty, they are not related to only to the secondary sex characteristics, but they are also related to our cognitive development, how our entire thinking gets changed after our puberty, and that's what it is saying. And our process of thinking, that is the way of thinking, is known as cognitive processes. And one of the we are not going into the detail that how many hormones are released by pituitary and what are their functions. We are seeking only those, we are reading only those which are important for us to know. Another hormone which is released by pituitary gland is oxytocin, which is also called as love hormone. Remember, its second name is known as it is also known as love hormone, and it is involved in variety of ways with both reproduction and parental behavior. First thing you have to note it down that research is continue in the to study the behavior of oxytocin. That is, yet we cannot say exactly what all the functions of oxytocin, but whatever we have discovered here, that has been implemented in our practical life. For example, it is used to induce labor pain. during the childbirth. There are some women who feel that it's a time for their labor to start, but they do not feel such condition, and to induce that labor, injection of oxytocin is given, and after that childbirth takes place. It is used in this way many times. Another aspect of it is another function of it may be called as it helps in release of secretion of milk with the help of mammary gland. It is involved in that process, that is for secretion of milk after the childbirth. It is also involved in uh, inducing social behavior in humans, and sometimes in media it is referred as love hormone and trust hormone also. It may be called as trust hormone also. And is there anything else? No. And recent findings has told that the effect of oxytocin may differ for each individual, means it may have different impact on different individuals. This is yet in its research phase. uh, some other endocrine glands are pineal gland, which is located behind the pituitary gland, as we had seen in our image, near the back, directly above the brainstem. Uh, Pineal gland is associated with the management of our biological clock. You may have heard about biological clock in news, and what is its meaning? It works in regulating the sleep and wake cycle of humans. Next one is thyroid gland, as it is found inside the neck and secretes a hormone which is known as oh. So a pineal gland releases a hormone known as melatonin. So with the help of melatonin, it regulates the biological cycle. Next one is thyroid gland, located inside the neck and secretes a hormone that regulates growth and metabolism. One of these hormones is called thyroxine. You may have heard, if you are from biology background, what thyroxine is. It regulates the metabolism, how fast the body burns its available energy. Means it may have also some relation with our heart rate and pulse rate too. uh, Thyroid plays a crucial role in body and brain development, remember, because it is associated with metabolism. And next one is pancreas, which controls the level of blood sugar in the body by secreting insulin and glucagon. Let me tell you about the working of these insulin and glucagon. Actually, pancreas releases three type of hormones with its three specialized cells, that is alpha cells, beta cells and gamma cells. Sorry, gamma, this will not be gamma, this is gamma cells. So these are the three specialized cells, and this insulin is released by alpha cells. It may be wrong, check it on the internet whether I'm telling correct. That is, insulin is released by alpha cell, and beta cells releases glucagon, and there is gamma cell which releases some hormone. I don't remember its name, but it's a good name to remember. You may refer to internet to search that, but that's not the topic. So how this insulin and glucagon works: sometimes when the blood sugar in our body increases, that is sugar in our blood increases, it alpha cell of the pancreas releases insulin, a hormone which converts sugar into glucose. Now you have two questions as homework. First, you have to tell where this glucose is stored in our body, and second one is there any second question also? What is the formula of glucose? Chemical formula of glucose. These are the two homework for you. It it's easy. It's good for a one day exam, not for your exam, but just for entertainment. I have asked it, given to it. And when the things opposite happens, means blood sugar level becomes less in our body, the stored glucose is converted to sugar again with the help of which which hormone, that is glucagon, which is secreted by beta cell of pancreas. That's it. And next one is our gonads. All the sex glands, including ovaries in the female and testes in the male, they secrete hormones that regulate sexual behavior and reproduction. They do not control all sexual behavior, though. In a very real sense, the brain itself is the master of sexual system. Human sexual behavior is not controlled totally by instincts and the actions of the glands, as in some parts of the animal world, but it is also affected by psychological factors such as attractiveness, which further gives rise to love, a betrayal. Okay, next one is adrenal gland. What is the meaning of adrenaline? There is a it is a root word actually, and whenever you see this word adrene or adrenaline, it is related to your kidney or renal. If you find a word which is started with renal, this means that is related with kidney. Already we have talked about adrenal gland, which is involved in autonomous nervous system, that is it releases adrenaline and noradrenaline hormone, which work during the emergency and during peace time also. And is there anything else? Here it's important, the adrenal cortex is actually the upper part of some organ. If there is any organ, suppose this is an organ, this is a cell basically, then its upper part will be known as cortex. So adrenal cortex produces more than 30 different hormones called corticoids, also called steroids, that regulates salt intake, help initiate and control stress reaction, and also provide a source of sex hormone in addition to these provided by the gonads. One of the most important of these adrenal hormone is cortisol, released when the body experiences stress, both physical stress such as illness, surgery or extreme heat, or cold, and psychological stress such as emotional upset. Cortisol is important in release of glucose into the bloodstream during the stress, providing energy for the brain itself, and the release of fatty acid from the fat cells that provide the muscles with energy. Means during the emergency situation, adrenal gland has a major role to play. How this works? Because our body has to maintain the level of energy at that time, because at that time, during the time of emergency, we need extra energy, and we know that our extra energy, that is excess glucose, is stored where, you know that. And during the time of energy, this excess glucose has to come into the play for providing more energy to our body and to our brain, because oxygen is already being provided by the blood. How this works? Adrenal gland releases its hormone, and this hormone stimulates the stored glucose to be converted into the sugar and then released into the blood. That's it. That's how it works. Means in our real life, in our practical life, in our materialistic life, we see some physical objects, some electronic objects where we have to press some button to control something. But here in our body, we are not supposed to press any button. Neither we are supposed to release something. There is our brain which will inside the brain there is hypothalamus which will command to the pituitary gland, and in turn pituitary gland will release some of the hormones related to the command as per the command. And in turn the command which is given by the pituitary gland to the other gland will release the hormone or will stop releasing the hormone based on the command given by the pituitary gland. This is how our body works, not in the materialistic life where we have to press some button. That's it. I think you have understood about the chapter, about the topic. Next topic is, what is it? It's one of the very important topic that is about which we were waiting for more than 2 classes. That is our living brain. We will study in great detail about the brain because it's important for understanding the other chapters, and how we cannot understand even our cognitive processes or cognitive perspective of psychology without understanding the brain and its working. So that's it for today. Thank you.